Hey everybody, clearing. All right, this is going to be a Divine Masculine check-in. We are going to look at what the masculines would like to talk about today as it pertains to their own life and how that relates to their Divine Feminine, and then some advice for the DFs. But let's first off look at what the masculines might want to talk about. So actually on the pre-shuffle, I got a message that they're clearing out something from their karmic lives. And we are getting Four of Swords, Lord of Rest from Strife. So whatever it is that they are working on right now, they want to talk to you about how that's playing out in their life in this reading. So whether they talk to you before this, whatever this is, whatever the strife is fully released or not, I'm not so sure. Right now, energetically, we can have this conversation that the masculines are moving away from strife. The Four of Swords comes after the Three of Swords, which is the heartache card. And so that is behind them. They are moving beyond it. The Four of Swords to me in the upright is where we're integrating those lessons. In the inverse, we haven't quite pinpointed what those lessons need to be yet, but we're feeling that relief. We're feeling the progress. I just heard it's like ugly crying after grieving the loss of a loved one, where you've processed and you've had that big purge and you're sort of just in the aftermath of it, but not yet knowing where to go from there. But you've had some epiphanies. You've come to terms with the separation from the known world, that time is over. And there is now this feeling of mourning that era, but not yet knowing what comes next. It's like the light is beginning to break through the clouds. What can we see for the energy that the masculines would like to tune into? Wow, Chamber of Communication, Telepathy, Correspondence, Declaration. What I just heard was the telepathic connection is going to get stronger the more clear both of you are. The less karmic burden, the less trauma is there, the more you're focusing on the light, looking at the love, the clearer the telepathic connection and the communication in the physical that comes after that will be. Okay, let's have a look at, thank you Divine Creator for using me as a channel of only the highest, most beneficial information coming through. What can we see for the Divine Masculines in the collective that joins me here? What are these masculines navigating in their lives as they release strife and begin to communicate even more clearly, uninterrupted, without distraction, without being pulled in too many directions? What is this coherence coming in to the masculine perception in their own right as it regards or pertains to their feminine? And what do the feminines most need to know? Also, like, share, subscribe, hype the video up, do it all. We're close to 20,000. I actually didn't check. Maybe we're over 20,000. I think there's like 50 more subs to have, and then we're giving away 3 coaching hours, a package with me, and I can't wait to see who ends up getting that. I will announce the contest details once we get over the 20,000 mark. And yeah, so here we go. Conscious mind about the connection. Oh, union in the inverse. So this is the sacred, romantic commitment here that they're working towards internally, this inner union. So whatever the strife was, it was inevitably where they were choosing external factors, people, places, things, beliefs, rather than listening to their heart, listening. Your connection, if it's truly a divine aligned connection, listening to your heart will be synonymous with aligning with your person. And not the other way around. It's not aligning with your person will be synonymous with your heart. Aligning with your heart is synonymous with your real person. So if you try to align with a person, it may or may not be an alignment with your heart, right? If you align with your heart, it shows you if you're aligned with that specific person. big distinguishing factor. That's why we say what we do for self, we do for counterpart. Because when we align with our righteousness, with our truth, with that integrity, that core awareness, if that causes us to not be aligned with our person, it's either not time or that's not our person. And so we keep going until we understand. So the masculines are focusing on aligning with their core, and that is bringing them out of karmic situations right now and into clarity regarding your connection. So because I channel divine masculines, I'm not so much channeling karmic masculines or other types of connections. We're looking at righteous, aligned, masterful masculines here. It's up to you to decide if the person you're watching this for is that or not. You and God get to sleuth that one for your connection. And masculines likewise, if you're feeling called to align as a divine masculine, see where you're at regarding these messages. This is saying that divine masculines are seeking out those union-centric energies within their own core as a baseline to know what is a fit here in this connection. How does that pertain to you, feminines? Ace of Wands. They're really looking at what is attraction, what attracts them to you. They're revisiting the initial chemistry and seeing it come alive in a much deeper way is what I'm hearing. They're also seeing new truths emerge that they were clouded, that were not available to them when they were too heavily in this energy of strife. Things that felt like too much of a stretch are now starting to feel accessible. The fantasy is starting to ground. What is the advice for the feminines here? Tower. Ooh, when we get to 0 point with this, it happens out of nowhere. So you might be having some epiphanies about when you first met recently, no matter how long ago that was. I'm hearing memories could be coming back as your masculine starts to integrate this deeper truth about like time traveling through your connection, healing the perceptions that they may have had that were clouded or not completely accurate. You might be also remembering certain times in your connection when there was a rupture in the dream. So I'm hearing specifically memories coming back that have to do with when the connection ruptured or disconnected out of nowhere. Those things are being seen differently by the masculines at this time. Those projections, insecurities, misreads of energy, those were all to do with the past strife templates. What can we see for how these masculines are viewing themselves as it relates to you? Two peas in a pod. So they feel like as they really focus on themselves, it's bringing you naturally closer together. I just had a friend share a template that was a triangle like this with God at the top and counterparts at the base. And now if the counterparts are closer to God, they are closer together. If they are further from God, they are further apart. So this is also that natural progression towards unity consciousness, towards divinity, towards righteousness. And your masculine is seeing themselves, working on themselves, and in turn, it's bringing you both into closer proximity because they're going towards their divinity. You're simultaneously going towards your divinity, and it's bringing the two of you closer, but you've always been in this process together. They're recognizing that on much deeper levels right now. How does this pertain to you? Four of Cups, the idea of missed opportunities or false starts, those are being also worked on and revisited. I've been channeling for a few weeks, maybe over a month now, this card, the Four of Cups. It's where our compassion, where our judgmental energy is laid down, our heart expands. When things don't work out the way that we think they should, it's often an opportunity to have even more compassion and to be able to forgive and to be able to see it more through the energetics instead of a push-pull dynamic or a right and wrong or a rejection, abandonment template. It's more about the things that we question and integrate as a result of things not going our way. It shows us what could happen, and then it also gives us a reality check of what else needs to come into alignment before we can fully go towards something. So these masculines are seeing that none of the times this connection didn't come together, they're not seeing it as separate or a rejection. Now they're seeing it as part of this process of discovery, part of the discernment, part of the divine plan, part of the way that the deeper awarenesses of unconditional love have been shown. It's needed to play out these ways for the nuanced things to come into focus. What can we see for how the feminines can look at this? Well, there's the eclipses that just happened. So there's a paradigm shift here with new ways of looking at things from your side, from the masculine side, or from your assessment of the masculine side. So everything is sort of done a flip, and we're seeing things with more compassion, more unconditional love. There is a more empowered energy coming forward, a more unified. Here's the eclipse with the feminine and masculine, the sun and moon in that little sweet spot together. Does that remind you of any diagram here? Same kind of energy. So feminines, really believe, just know, affirm, you're in it together, you're working on things together. Thoughts are being brought into alignment with what our hearts have known from the beginning. That's very nice. What can we see for how these masculines are feeling on the heart space? Ace of Wands. Yeah, here's this passionate, inspired new beginning. This is a brand new way of looking at the sacred intimacy in the connection because their heart is beginning to have the permission to be involved. The clarity of what this connection is, how this connection benefits both of you in righteousness and blessing and truth and discovery and growth. They're very much excited to see where that can go. There's something about generational patterns. I'm drawn to the crow on this wand. There's something that these masculines are realizing that they are the pinnacle of their family line regarding the healing. So yes, masculines, you are generational curse breakers here. They're paying homage to their ancestry here, both for the empowerment that they were given, the things that they were born in with in their toolkit, and the things that they've had to find by default or omission or compensate or heal in their family line. They're recognizing all of it, that everyone has their unique path and challenges. How does this relate to the feminines? King of Wands, this is their ability to take that life path, their river of life, and bring it forward into connection with you as a triumphant thing, as a successful thing, as a victorious thing. They are not bringing forward their wounding into these unions. They are bringing forward their salvation, I heard, their mastery, their overcoming, their desire to have success, to not undermine, to have a healed connection. What do the feminines need to know here? So this is their heart wish about the connection here. Because they're eliminating strife, they are learning a thing or two about how to handle sacred relationship as a master, as a spiritually embodied masculine. Feminines, you have been feeling this. This is the psychic intuitive card. This is you being in your intuition, sensing this becoming and awaiting their approach and knowing that they are doing this, that whatever the trials, the tribulations, the strife, whatever they're overcoming, they've been focusing on, they've been navigating, you've been feeling it as this hero's journey. What can we see for the masculine's lives where it comes to themselves with you in the heart space. Look, they've got both of you here. I heard nest egg. So if they're working on finances right now, they're working on having enough for the two of you. They're working on grounding this into the physical. They're being conscious with their financial decisions and their understanding of the divine path. They're incorporating all of it. You know, when we have finances and we don't have connection to source, we lose those finances. We get a wake-up call. They don't stick. If we just have connection to source and we don't balance out in the physical, we can be spiritually bypassing, or we don't get along well in the world or have that experience. So there's a fullness coming in about how on the heart of hearts, these masculines are having it all. They're anchoring it all. They're bringing it all in here. They are considering you. How does this relate to you? The star. It's part of the destined path. You are partly their muse, their inspiration, their support, their encouragement. But this is also their connection to source and the safe container they're creating because they love you so much, feminines, because your paths crossed, because they see you as exquisite, because you are extraordinary and you bring peace to them. This is a dove here. And because you've offered them the peace to have this room, this spaciousness, to do this becoming, this process, this hero's journey, they are looking to you as such a honorable person, I'm hearing, cherishing you. They cherish the amount of strength and peace you've allowed them to navigate with. They have had karmic partners that are so all up in their business that they could not have done what they are doing regarding their own lives and be connected with any of those karmic partners. They are so grateful to you. They think of you every day. I just heard they dedicate their daily walk to the divine and you. Oh, and your future. What is the energy for the feminines? The daily walk. This is one foot in front of the other, steps in the process towards that goal in sight. So whatever your, new moons are intention setting and the next cycle coming in. So you're walking towards being able to start afresh, start new. We've been seeing the Justice card. We've been seeing things clearing for the feminines. This is a card of karma clearing. 9 of Wands. The Wands are the karma suit. So you're getting very close to being able to have a true, sovereign, fresh start in your life. What can we see for the actions the masculines are taking in their own lives regarding ending stress? They're not aligning with anything that doesn't ring as true. They're differentiating between truth and not truth. How does this pertain to the feminines? Page of Wands. They're praying about how to bring truth, see truth, even to discern truth within your connection. Because in order for these masculines to be in leadership within your connection, they have to be able to tell fact from fiction. And so they're praying to be shown the minutia of fact from fiction within how they perceive your connection. We've seen a lot of revelations coming in for the masculines in recent weeks about how they're seeing the feminine differently, how the divine is revealing to them different aspects of the love that's been here, the confirmations of the love, the gratitude for the love. So they're continuing to weed through any misconceptions, any kind of insecurities, any kind of hesitancy, any fear of rejection. There's a desire to see the confirmation first person between them and the divine, and they're praying actively for this to be shown what it is. What can we see for the advice for the feminines? The Hanged Man. So you may feel like there's a standstill right now. The epiphany is start setting the intention, start looking to the horizon beyond what you're perceiving needs to change before you get to the good part. Whatever it is that you're awaiting movement in, the epiphany is here. You don't have to wait indefinitely for movement to happen where things are at. Start focusing your energy on that high frequency, good feeling energy that would come after whatever the perceived obstacle is that's still in the way. Think about or feel, ground, initiate, look to examples of what that will feel like afterwards. Throw that fishing line over the speed bump that you think is in your way, if there is one. What can we see for the biggest challenge that the masculines are dealing with? Their own happiness. So continuing to remove themselves from strife, to be in ownership of who they are and their desires and what they really want. How does it pertain to the feminines? 10 of Wands. There's that struggle, that strife, the burden. So this is the ticket to getting out of anxiety, of imposter syndrome, of nervousness, of tongue-tied energy, of not being able to kick this relationship off the right way. Getting rid of the strife and coming into peace is the holy grail for these masculines, so that they don't bring any burden into these relationships that doesn't need to be there unnecessarily. So I just want to say, I did not say that things had to be perfect in order for that to happen. It just needs to be clear what is on the way out and what the healthy standards are going forward. Masculines are needing to lay down the law in their life. If something doesn't sit well with their soul, it has to be proclaimed that that's not the fit. Divine feminines sit well with the masculine soul. And so if any people, places, things do not support or align or approve, then there is either a conversation that needs to be had to bring clarity, to compassion to those individuals through conveying how the masculines truly feel about the feminine, or those individuals need to phase out. That's what I'm hearing. So the masculines might be still going through conversations with others and introducing the concept of the feminine into social circles. Or they may just be eliminating certain individuals that they know won't be part of the dynamic going forward. Feminines, you don't have to do anything in this regard. It's really up to the masculines to be making a safe container. I saw bowerbirds making nests. So right now the masculines are preparing their world to bring you in on it. We've seen that message a little bit lately. You don't have to do anything, feminines. This is the time for your masculine to come out into the world as this magician, as this wizard, as this divine being. They're making way for this, but they're creating a safe container for you to come into their life in, that will be free from the strife that they know the world bombards us with, that they are finding freedom from. If you are tuned in and this is your divine counterpart, you will be getting these updates from them. You will be, if this reading is yours, you will have been feeling these awarenesses come in. We heard that you may be feeling the beginning ruptures. You might be having memories for those initial ruptures in your relationship, and therefore the healing that can ensue, the new perspective. But you may also be feeling some of these boundaries your masculines are setting, or epiphanies about what they're doing on their side of the energy to create and ground their own happiness and to end the burden in their lives. You may be aware of real world things that are shifting and changing and being supported in their lives. So it's about witnessing right now. It's not so much doing, feminines, but it's opening up to receive that this masculine loves you so much that they are doing all of this in alignment with the divine, but also with you in mind. I want to hold up that card where they've got you and them in the material realm side by side on their heart chakra there. What can we see as the solution to this challenge? The High Priestess. So this is the masculine tuning in to their knowing deep, deep within, going on faith, sight unseen. This is the transmutation. They may not be having a lot of action. In fact, in many ways, there is a non-action when it comes to old karmic patterns, karmic people, karmic scenarios. It feels as though they are giving themselves permission to disengage and to not perpetuate things any further with those energies. So at times, feminines, you felt your masculines disconnect. You could say when they've gone ghost or blocked. They're doing that with the karmic stuff now. But the relevance of the karma is being released, and the strife is being released along with it. They're not maybe taking action with your connection just yet, but they're actually applying those same healthy boundaries and ways of regulating connection that they were more clumsy with you. Here's what I'm getting. In the beginning, they were very abrupt and bold and blunt with you, feminine. Likely in various cycles, you will have felt this soften, progressively soften through your connection. They've learned to be discerning and in balance with this stuff. And so now they can be eloquent with the karma and finally neutralize all of that strife and karmic strings still attached. So they're becoming very elegant, because what you resist persists. So if you resist karma, it will come back tenfold. If you neutralize it through wisdom and authenticity, the karmic work is done. And that's what I'm feeling here for these masculines as the solution, as they challenge themselves to know what brings them peace, what brings them happiness. It's obvious the karmic things that need to be released that are no longer relevant. They've passed the expiration date. And so it's a matter of you masculines tuning into what those particular things are, so you can just say, yeah, no, I now know that doesn't resonate anymore. How does this relate to the feminines? The Hierophant. This is the spiritual connection that's being exonerated, honored, acknowledged, appreciated, affirmed in every motion the masculines are taking to release strife and karma. This connection is the gold standard. This connection is the ideal template for interpersonal dynamics. And so these masculines are not sweating the small stuff. So it's not about rejecting karmic people, places, things. It's about disengaging from the karma and then allowing, through unconditional love, for anything that can meet the masculines in the energy of high frequency up on board, on the up and up, then it's welcome to come in on that level. Feminines, that's not about competition with other suitors and things. But if there are karmic feminines around your masculine, this is also a fail-safe, because they will also elevate from trying to get a piece of your masculine for other reasons than love. And so they could sort out what the connections would be like that no longer cheapen it. No more misconceptions. Likewise, feminines, you'll be able to handle energy from other people, places, and things like a master as well as you continue on your journey here. But this connection with the Hierophant is the pinnacle. It's the gold standard. What is the advice for the feminines? Ooh, these wings are almost getting ready to fly. When this truth comes in, that it's go time, your wings are already fully formed here. This monarch butterfly is already just poised to be released from this chrysalis. So the time is very near. You can see the wings are already formed and ready. And so these swords are all the chatter, the different opinions, the different onlookers, the different circumstances. But there's one truth above all that we're going towards here, and that is the spiritual connection. So hold tight, let it support you, let it pull you up and out of confusion, out of overthinking, all of those other lower vibrational things. If it starts to cause you suffering, it's not the highest truth. And in fact, in most cases, it's flat out illusion. So anytime you start to feel the suffering coming in, put the brakes on. There's nothing productive. There's no rhyme or reason in illusion. You will chase your tail to no end and never find truth when you're looking at illusion. And so come up and higher into the truth and tell yourself truth storylines, because you'll be productive in it. Shift the focus. Your masculine is shifting the focus. It's going to happen organically anyways, I'm hearing, because of the way the counterparts influence each other through the telepathic and energetic connection. What can we see in the near future for the masculines here? They're having unconditional love for themselves, forgiveness for themselves. They're releasing themselves from all the things that kept them bound in guilt and shame cycles with other people, places, and things. They're no longer in weak energy where they keep backsliding into their comfort zone or into instant gratification or into addictions of any sort or imbalances. They're staying drinking from the unconditional love that they can be in their wholeness. How does this pertain to the feminine? 7 of Wands. This is the bravery, the ostrich. This is the head out of the sand, looking to the feminine. They're no longer burying their head in the sand. They can look you in the eye because they don't have this guilty conscience. They've come into alignment. They've been able to focus. They've been able to make it through the barriers, over the hump. Feminines, Son of Pentacles, keep an open mind, because even though your masculine hasn't been proclaiming outright that you've been working on a foundation together, a foundation has been establishing all the way along. It's going to start looking more consciously there. And so, yeah, there is a shift. There's a forward motion. These 3 cards on my table here are all pointing into a forward motion. They're all going towards what comes next. There's a flow here. Oh, how beautiful. So things are beginning to flow in the right direction. Let's just get a quick card. What is going to be happening next? What can everybody see as the next? Yeah, masculines drinking from their cup of worthiness, their cup of love, their forgiveness. This is the masculine getting on the horse to come towards the feminine. They're just filling up their own cup right now so that they have the love to give. So the next conversation you have, the next meetup, this abandonment wound is being shed. And here, feminines, you're just here filling up your own resource of love, being generous, being in service. This feminine's eyes are closed in this card. You won't see it coming. Your masculines love you so much, and they are on the way. All right, many blessings. Bye for now.